This is a review on the Marvel Universe 2-pack of Thanos and Adam Warlock. And right away, some really nice card art right here. Look at that. And just check out this 2-pack. Thanos' sculpt looks really good. It's a little different, the paint job. Adam Warlock looks really great, and I mean, fantastic. And he has the Infinity Gauntlet as well. You got a staff weapon. This is the best costume that I liked on the character. I thought it looked really cool. And it has the Infinity Gauntlet number 3. Gonna open this up and continue the review. This is the Thanos and Adam Warlock 2-pack opened. And right away, I was surprised by the quality of it. Before I talk about the figures, it does have this Infinity Gauntlet issue 3 comic book. It has a great cover. I was disappointed in a way because this is the lead-up issue to the big fight with Thanos. And issue 4 had like a standalone cover of just Thanos. And that was where all the action happened. And one thing about the Infinity Gauntlet is I thought issues 3 and 4 cover-wise were not accurate. Number 3 should have had the Thanos solo, and number 4, where the battle happened, should have had this cover. And each issue was about 40 pages or so. Here they only give you half the book, because at the end it says, to be continued in the Infinity Gauntlet trade paperback. They only gave you 20 pages or so here, which was kind of a surprise because I didn't think they would cut the issue in half. And it might be a first time that they have done that on these 2-packs. But seriously, if you have not read the Infinity Gauntlet, you should track down the paperback copy and consider this a preview, this issue, because it really is a great trade paperback. It's a great crossover. If you like seeing big fights where a bunch of heroes are fighting a villain, I mean, the Infinity Gauntlet on its own is a great series, okay? And if you don't have that comic book or you haven't read it, you should track down that paperback because it's definitely a worthy read. So that's my recommendation. But this is the comic from issue 3, or at least some of it. And here's what surprised me. I'll talk about Adam Warlock. And if you saw my Marvel Legends review, I didn't like the interpretation of the character. I thought Hasbro did a bad job. But here, they did just an excellent job. Just so many times better than the Marvel Legends version for a variety of reasons, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But what surprised me here on this 2-pack was Thanos. I actually have this one, and if you saw my review on this channel, he has a solo carded action figure. So I thought if you already have Thanos, then you're just buying it for Adam Warlock, really. But if you don't have Thanos solo, then definitely get these 2. But even though I have that one solo, I think this one's a little better, to my surprise. The face sculpt here is all new. That one, he had sort of a smirk. This one, he has that evil grin that he has right when he's about to do something really bad. That he looks like that expression-wise, and that's what he has here. But he is lacking something, and the solo carded one, he had another hand for the Infinity Gauntlet. They did not give you the Thanos Infinity Gauntlet hand, and it was an open grip. And so here, they don't give you the option to have that extra hand for an open grip. You only got 2 fists, and I'm surprised they didn't give you that extra part. But here's what's weird, is that version, it did not have a stripe in the center, and it did not have these stripes in the shoulders here. But these stripes, and this stripe in the center, is more comic book accurate. You can see right here what I'm talking about in the issue. The stripe in the center, and the stripe by the shoulders. So in terms of the costume detailing, this one is a little more accurate than the solo carded version. But Also, the colors are different. That was like a lighter blue on the solo card. This is kind of like a darker blue and more of a golden color. And it's debatable, does this look more like the comic? Or is the solo version, which has a lighter blue color scheme and a different color of orange here instead of gold, is that the more comic accurate one to get? Or is this one just a little better, even though it's a different shade of color and it's a little more accurate in detailing? And so it's a pretty tough debate between which Thanos is better. I think this one has a little better head sculpt here, and it's a little more comic accurate in detailing. It's too bad it doesn't have the glove, the extra part. And the colors, both seem to work. This one works well, and the solo carded version works well, so really can't complain. I think it's really good. For the articulation, the up and down, not really too much. The side to side is good, and the sculpt looks really great. You can see the ball jointed shoulders, side to side, up and down. 1 point of articulation at the elbow area, and by the glove top you can spin it around, but each hand is a closed fist. Upper body here has side to side, some up and down, but no waist articulation, but this is so low that it's basically the waist. Side to side at the hips and up and down, and has the upper thigh area cuts there. Has the double knee articulation. The boot area here, you can spin it right at the top, and it has 1 point of articulation at the feet up and down, but no side to side. Same thing here, up and down, but no side to side. But the reason I wanted to get this 2-pack was because I was an Adam Warlock fan from the Infinity Gauntlet era, and I thought this costume always looked the best on him as a character. And I just liked that whole Infinity Gauntlet, those days back then. And he had the Infinity War and the Infinity Crusade, and I thought it was just a really cool character. Unlike the Marvel Legends, which had an inaccurate flesh color skin tone, here they got the color right. He's bronzed, and his skin is right. You could see his eyes. He got black shadows around the eye area. He got a serious expression. The hair sculpt to the side, just like in the comic era those days. He has a little skull thing on his cape. Even the cape kind of like has a nice flow here. Usually the Hasbro capes are pretty plain, but here they gave a pretty good cape. And here, check this out. His weapon. It's like a staff weapon here. It's brown, and it has some black shading over it, and you just put it in the hand here. And he usually held it like this in the comics, like that. It looks good overall. I'm going to talk about the paint detail in a minute. But here is the odd part. He has the Infinity Gauntlet, just like in the comic, and you can see the 6 gems on the gauntlet, but it's really half a gauntlet. Check this out. Look at that. Hasbro didn't give you a full gauntlet, or I thought it would be like a removable hand piece, or maybe a removable forearm and you could switch it. No, they just gave you a half a gauntlet, which is kind of cheap when you think about it. And look at the position. It's like an open hand, but here he has a closed hand. It's a closed fist on a thin body mold, and this is just half a gauntlet. And what you're supposed to do is you attach right at the forearm here. See, it fell off, but you attach it right here, and even though it's a fist, the fingers kind of cover it up. And depending how you pose it, you just put like a front pose like that, it looks like you got a full gauntlet. Or let's say you want to pose it on the front, you just pose it like that for a display. But if you pose it this way, it stands exposed. kind of cheap that they gave you half a gauntlet. I mean, seriously. And what's kind of cool is other figures who use this body mold, you can give them this half a gauntlet if you really want to. Or maybe you can make it stand up like that. But I really thought it would be a full gauntlet. But apparently they gave you like some cheap half and half. But hey, as long as I could put him on a display, and as long as I could pose it and it looks good, like he has a full gauntlet, like that, you know, I'm not going to complain. Because the rest of it is just an excellent action figure. They used a metallic red here on the body and on the legs here, which looks great. Even the cape, it seems to have like a deep red coloring to it. Yeah. Just the metallic uses of the red here. I mean, it looks like a really great version of the character. I could say I was disappointed in the Marvel Legends version of the character, but the Marvel Universe version, I can't complain. It's actually better than I thought it would be. That use of metallic red, the overall accuracy is accurate to the comic book. I mean, it's a great figure on its own. Look at this. It uses that thin body mold which Hasbro has used before. And the leggings are just painted on, and same with the arms. For the articulation, you do got up and down, and you got side to side. If you wanted to, you could remove the cape, but it's supposed to be on anyway, so gonna keep it on. So the ball jointed shoulders, side to side, and up and down. You got the upper articulation there at the bicep. Has 1 point of articulation at the elbow. The right hand is an open grip and you can spin it around and it holds a staff weapon. Left hand is a fist and you can spin that. Upper body articulation and waist articulation. So you got both. And side to side, up and down at the hips. And upper articulation here. Double knees. Articulation right at the boot area. And the feet got up and down and side to side. So check that out. I wasn't expecting that on the side to side, but it has that point of articulation. So it's a really good articulated action figure. And you could give him his staff. And even though he didn't have the gauntlet long in the comic books, if you want to, and what I'm going to use for a display, is I'm going to have him have the gauntlet. That looks pretty good. Thanos has a big mold here, thinner mold for Adam Warlock here. Both of them are well-known characters that one is a force of good, one is a force of evil, but they respect each other and they know each other well in terms of combat tactics. And in the comics, it always seems that even though they fight, they at some level have deep respect for each other as characters. And if you've seen the Infinity Gauntlet, for example, you see how that plays out. And it's overall, I think it's a 2-pack. If you don't have Thanos solo already, then get this 2-pack. It's great. If you have him already, I would just get this 2-pack anyway to get Adam Warlock. You don't know if he's going to get a solo carded figure in the future, or if they would change the paint colors, or whatever they might do. So this version is the version to get, because the paints are great, the accuracy is there, it's a really good action figure. So you really can't lose with this 2-pack. Plus, if you've never read the Infinity Gauntlet, you get half an issue here, so consider it a preview. And as I mentioned, I would highly recommend getting the Infinity Gauntlet trade paperback. It's something worth seeking and reading. So that's the review. Thanks for watching, and talk to you later. Hey, Adam Warlock, can I have the Infinity Gauntlet back? No, the power of the universe is mine, Thanos. Oh, come on. You have a staff weapon. Give me the gauntlet. No, Thanos. You would just use it to try to rule the universe again. And eventually you would make a mistake. And I would take the gauntlet back from you. You know, I hate it when he's right. Now how next shall I use the power of the Infinity Gauntlet?